The company that I'm working with started actually way back about 75 years ago. And they were making very, very simple products. There was no electronics in the world. So everything was mechanical. I would say up till about 1970 or even 68, there were no robots, computers, chips. Most of the things were just ordinary mechanical machines. When I got into it and all other engineers of our age, then the electronics had come. So we had to change the whole range of products to the modern concepts where the controls are from the computers and electronics.
Welcome to Unbox with Tunvey, a podcast that unravels, understands, and, well, aims to break down human behavior through conversations that inspire. We try to talk to people who've led unconventional lives, broken some barriers, and are making a difference in the world. Today, I have with me someone who has very little information in the public domain, but he has done some amazing work. So he's known as the father of robotics in India. He's really somebody who's brought robotics into India way back in the 70s when people didn't even know what it was. He has also represented India in golf for 14 years, right? So, wide array of interests that he has. And I'm really excited about the conversation we're going to have today because I think you'll enjoy it. Please help me welcome Mr. Achal Nath. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
I am, whenever I've met you and we spoke last time as well, I was just very enthused and excited and inspired by your energy. You're still a little kid. We had coffee with ice cream in the middle and said, let's experiment, let's do something different. And just the energy that you have, how do you maintain that, and how do you keep this curiosity and excitement going?
See, age is just a number.
Yeah.
It's how you feel, isn't it? I mean, if you start feeling old, you're old. So I believe you should really feel like that you're still a kid and remain young and spend a lot of time with younger people.
Yeah.
Then everything in your mind and body is also feeling young.
So spend time with young people. Do you do that a lot?
In fact, talking about golf, lately my friends, who are my age or my compatriots, they've kind of had problems of it's too hot and it's too cold or it's raining. But so I'm playing with guys who are really my kids' age, and they never complain. Everything is fine. Never hot. The elbows don't pain. Shoulders are fine. So playing with them, you also feel like nearly their age.
Wow.
The best thing is stay with younger people.
Stay with young people. That's the key to remaining young mentally,
Yeah.
physically, emotionally, and having coffee with ice cream.
I ask people, how many times do you have ice cream for breakfast? And most people say no. I said, why not? You take a little kid, any kid, and give them ice cream
For
in the
breakfast.
morning, they love it. So, so,
New health diet.
so why do you change? Is it growing up?
Yeah, that's actually a debate worth having. That is growing up all that it's uh, you know, thought it should be or whatever.
This
Yeah.
is good for you, that's not good for you, this is bad. So you are channeled, you are pushed into a direction by society.
That grow up.
So I think you should be a little bit different. But there are too many people who are, I think, normal, ordinary. You have to be different.
So
Stand
how have
out.
you been different? Well, let me ask the question differently. You were in IIT. You're a modern school Barakhamba pass out, and anybody who's from modern, I think, has a whole different trajectory and experience and exposure way back then. Which now a lot more schools offer, but back then I don't think any other school offered it. And you went to IIT Delhi. I was, like I said, there's very little information about you in the public domain, but on your LinkedIn it says passed out from IIT Delhi in 1974, but
Correct.
the company that you're a managing director of, it says 1970 to present. So what was that story?
I think maybe something is wrong in that date, but the company that I'm working with started actually way back about 75 years ago. And they
Wow.
were making very, very simple products. There was no electronics in the world, so everything was mechanical. I would say up till about 1970 or even 68, there were no robots, computers, chips. Most of the things were just ordinary mechanical machines. So they were doing all that, and when we got into it, I got into it, and all other engineers of our age. Then the electronics had come, so we had to change the whole range of products to that modern concepts where the controls are from the computers and electronics.
Well, back then, computers also probably were the size of rooms.
Even bigger than rooms.
Really?
There were buildings earlier, and you had to spend money to cool them, to heat them, to take out the heat. There were huge buildings.
Just to house one computer.
Yes, just out to one computer. When I was in IIT, I remember you had to actually punch a program, learn Fortran 4, go to the computer center and say, here's my computer, please run it for me. They said, come after 1 week and we'll give you the output. It was a crazy situation. And now the whole thing is maybe in a little chip and you can do it anywhere from a mobile.
From a watch.
From a watch. Yes, exactly.
That's true. Now, even from glasses,
Even from
apparently.
glasses, exactly. So the world has changed tremendously from the time that we started. And so this company was very old, had some idea about mechanical, you know, machines and how to put things together. And that was a starting point which gave us a, Philip, I would say, to make something totally different,
This
which
is
India was not
pre-partition.
making.
This is pre-partition. The company
Actually,
started.
my grandfather started that with my father in Lahore in 1935. And then they lost everything because they had to,
Come here.
come out during partition. So then they restarted the same thing in Delhi. They got a piece of land in lieu of what they had left behind. And when they restarted, they make standard normal mechanical things and pressings. So that background we took into the electronics, into robotics.
So while you were at IIT, you went to Japan and eventually you brought Kawasaki into India. What was it like as a young kid, and how did you even manage to go to Japan when you were still a student at IIT?
That's again a story that I don't know how it happened, but I used to play golf with a general manager of a Japanese company called Mitsui, very large company. And he asked me one day, what do you want to do when you graduate? I just said robotics. And it was 1970 or 69. And he said, robotics? India? Even Japan was just about starting robotics. What made me do it, I still don't know. But I said that.
It came from an
It
instinct.
just came somehow. And then later, when I graduated, and a little before that, he said, do you want to go to Japan? Because you had once mentioned you want to get into robotics. So he arranged my trip. And I asked my father, I said, listen, I want to go to Japan. But none of us in our whole family had ever gone to Japan. So those days, people were not traveling out so much. So he said, what do you want to do there? And so I told him robotics. He said, robotics. But he said, okay, go. So when I went there, I met Kawasaki, which was a large, very large corporation. And they asked me questions about India, not really about my company or me. They had very little idea about India. So when I told them everything, they said, let's do it.
So
That's why they came to India. And then we sold the first robot to IIT Kanpur, Jadavpur University, IIT Bombay. They were all for education. And that's how I started.
My God.
There was no manufacturing at that time.
It was just from an education and exposure point of view and going to
Because
universities.
there was no demand for industry till Maruti came. And we got the first 4 robots sold to Maruti in 1985.
So 20 years of just learning, studying from the 70s to the 90s.
Yeah, till mid 80s.
Mid 80s.
Then when manufacturing started in Maruti, that changed India. I could say that Maruti Suzuki coming to India was the starting point of proper high quality manufacturing in India. Before that, we were making not good products.
Thuk thuk.
The car would go and then make a noise, or something else would be there, it'll stop. These guys redefined what is called quality. The Japanese taught us a lot.
Yeah, I think that culturally comes within their, I think they take a lot of pride in how they do things.
Perfection.
Yeah.
Perfection.
But what was it like as a young student who'd never been to Japan and you went to Japan? Culturally, what was it like? What was your experience like?
I had lots of shocks.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know their culture. I went without a tie. And you can't go to a meeting in Japan at that time without a tie. You can't go there unless you know how to eat chopsticks, with chopsticks and Japanese food. So I had no idea. So everything was a learning point. How to eat, how to talk. But we were fine, we managed. If you go to meet a Japanese at that time, they won't know English very well. So you have to give them a visiting card with Japanese written on it.
So you got those printed.
When I reached there, the company that was taking me said, "Let's see your visiting card."
And
I
you're,
had a
I don't have.
simple English written on it. They said, "Not good enough." So we went to a place right there, and within 1 hour, they made a Japanese visiting card for me.
So then you
That I give, and you can't just give it like that. You have to stand up. They have to hold the card. There's a very strict protocol. You can't wear light-colored shirts. You have to wear dark suits. It was a different time. So, but
must have
and
been a
very
journey for
formal
you.
and very formal, you know. But the advantage was that because I was a very good golf player, I became a VIP. They would love to play golf with me.
Wow. So as a young student, your networking skills were honed over the golf course, really.
They are really, really crazy for golf.
Yeah.
And if you play well, they all want to play with you. They'll pick you from the hotel, they'll take you for golf, have nice dinner, lunch, everything. They really love golf. So I think maybe that was a difference.
That helped you bridge the cultural divide a lot. Yeah. What was it like playing for India while you were still in IIT? Did you get permission to miss college?
That's another story. The director of IIT Delhi said that, sorry, this is not an educational institution. I can't give you a leave for 1 month. In my last semester of 4 months, I wanted leave for 1 month. He said, are you joking? I would have failed. You missed the tutorial, you missed so many things. But finally, I managed to convince him. And he said, go. IIT had never ever had anybody play for any sports because it's not a sports
Yeah, no, no, it's
institution.
like highly academic and highly academically inclined people would go to IIT.
Exactly. And you had to study hard, otherwise you'd fail.
So did you fail?
Never.
I had to ask.
You
I
have
had
to
to ask.
manage. You have to manage your time. See, everybody has the same time. So if you don't waste time, you can play really good sports. I've had all the kids I meet. I said you have 24 hours. You can play sports and study. Not ordinary studies. IIT, do well and play really well sports. Why not?
Well, you exemplified that. You did really well at IIT and you represented India.
That's right.
You were captain of India, in fact, when you were at IIT.
No. I was not a captain of the team because I was the youngster.
Oh,
They were much more senior players, but they must have seen me play somewhere. So I got selected. I was doing well in the local tournaments. So they picked me up, and I couldn't believe it initially. Because getting a letter saying that you have to represent the country. It's a big thing. So
matter of pride.
finally it happened, and it was a very good experience. That's another learning when you go and represent India. When you wear a flag of India and you walk there as part of the team, it's a great feeling.
To represent your country. I'm sure it was, you feel a lot of pride when you represent your country.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Also responsible, but yeah, pride.
And much later, when I was a senior, above 55, again I got selected and I went to play again. So it's a great experience. You make friends, you learn things, you network. So it's a good thing to do.
So how did you straddle? You said you have 24 hours in a day, and if you manage to not waste your time, I think so many of us, and I talk to a lot of people because I train and I coach. So when I talk to people across age groups and demographic setups, so it could be a homemaker or it could be working professionals, young people, students, college. So many people just turn around and say, I don't have time. I don't have time. And I don't have time for the very things that could possibly get them out of the rut that they're stuck in, or the very thing that they want to change. And you just said that you can study at world class level and you can play sports at world class level and manage to do it. So what's your advice then?
I think there has to be some motivation from inside.
Mm.
How it comes, I don't know, but some people are motivated, that I want to do this and I want to do it well. I find lots of people who are just floating, they'll play golf or they'll work, but they won't like to get right on the top. Maybe it is something the way we were brought up. Our parents, the values they put into us. Maybe that when you do something, I still remember one little thing my father asked us. He said, supposing you go for a performance and there is somebody, playing a musical instrument uh, on the stage, and there are a lot of people on the audience. Where would you like to be?
Mm.
We are said there.
On the
That's
stage.
yeah. And I've asked this question to many people. Very few people say we want to be on the stage.
They're happy to be in the
They're
audience.
happy to be there. So whatever we did, we want to do well. So maybe it was something inside. You must strive to be better. Plus, I think what happened is that maybe the DNA. See, some people, because of DNA and the way you are brought up, your mental faculties are not challenged. So you don't push yourself, you just laze around. So you don't use your capability.
Because I think everybody does have the capability to
Definitely.
excel in some area of their life.
Absolutely, 100%.
I genuinely believe that.
But to remain in the middle always, that is a thing which is not good. Maybe, I don't know, the society also does it say that, listen, you've done well and so you are a hero. We really want you to be up there. Like in America, I find they do that very well. You may be doing anything, but if you do well, the society really looks up to you.
Hmm.
So maybe our society doesn't push you to that extent.
Yeah, maybe culturally, ambition is not always
Yeah,
taken in a positive light.
exactly.
And everyone has their own definition of ambition, and ambition equals, you, if you're very ambitious, especially for women, especially for women, if you're overly ambitious, then something's not right.
Exactly,
You're
exactly.
aggressive, or maybe you're not a family person, hence you're
Hence,
ambitious. So there are a lot of judgments around ambition for women, but I'm sure for men as well.
not that much, but still, um, if you excel, people like it, but you have to do a little bit extra.
Hmm.
I think it comes from within.
Yeah, like you said, I think a lot of it has to do with the drive. Like, is there a reason or a motivation that drives you to excel? I do feel sometimes it's because maybe you've seen a tough situation in life and you want to get out of it, and that pushes you or drives you, or you've seen your family and parents do well or put their best foot forward, and you also, want to follow that value system. I don't know. I think it's one of the two extremes, but
My father was the All India champion of badminton in 1946,
pre-independence.
pre-independence. So we heard all those stories, of excellence. Also, I think what happens is that, see, like you said, everybody has a talent.
Mhm.
Sure.
That's true.
If you can find what comes easily to you, like maths came very easily to me. I didn't have to struggle. So IIT became no problem. Similarly, I was a gymnast in school. I thought, golf is for the Buddhas, because that's the way it was, leisurely
Projected.
walk and. So we never played golf. So, but when I started golf, it came so easily to me. I picked up very fast. And in fact, I joined St. Stephen's College for 1 year. I'm a Stephanian also.
So you were in Stevens before you went to
I
IIT.
went there for 1 year, and that's the year I really learned golf. So when I went to IIT, I was a good golfer
Already.
already. So it came easily to me. I can see my batchmates, my guys who are about our age. Lots of them struggle for something very simple, but it's a mind and body coordination. what is golf or tennis or, we say Messi is a great footballer. So he can see in that whole scene of so many people where he can do what and just go and make a goal. So he has a little bit that extra
Yeah.
feel or, you know,
Yeah, that
capa-
sense of, or his
yeah,
body does what his mind tells it to
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, also.
So it's like that. I think maybe it comes easier to me. I couldn't do boxing.
You tried boxing as
No,
well?
if I couldn't, I'd die because you have to be strong. I'm not that strong. So
But you did tent pegging and horse riding.
that was you don't need strength for that.
Yeah,
That
it
was
is.
school days.
Yeah.
So you find what is good for you. It suits your body, your mind, and if that uh, balance
Synergy is there.
synergy is there, and you can find that, you will excel. Everybody will excel.
Yeah, I think what you said is very valuable when you said that, find what comes easily to you. And I know a lot of people, uh, a lot of youngsters say, I'm finding my passion. I want to find my passion. You can't find your passion till you've tried 10, 20 things. You've got to experience different things. And in the experiencing of various things, you'll find one thing or two things that come naturally to you,
And
or
you do well.
and you do well. And then that's the direction in which you need to move, and things will evolve as you move further and further. Yeah. Like for me, I think when my first show on television was in 1993 or 94. I did my first
Wow.
show for Doordarshan. It was called Footloose. It was a music countdown show. It was an English music countdown show, mind you. I thought I had arrived.
Fantastic, fantastic. 94.
93 or 95, I don't remember. I was in school still. And this was like one of those, summer projects that I did, and a couple of months of uh, doing this show. And I thought I was cat's whiskers and whatnot, because if you're doing an English music countdown show on television, it was a big thing back
Definitely, definitely.
then. And yeah, I enjoyed it, and while I, being a service class kid, we were told that, okay, all this television is great, do it, but don't forget your studies. So,
Yeah.
I had to study and
Keep your feet on the
keep
ground.
your feet on the ground, and did my graduation and did my MBA and all of that. But eventually, life came full circle, and I came back
So
to
that means
media.
it came easily to you.
Yeah,
I mean, something that you would like to do, you feel happy about.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Great.
I
You
do feel happy about it.
found your passion.
Yeah, I left it for many years in the middle, like being in front of the camera, but coming back on in front of the camera has been fun, and I'm meeting such interesting people, and that's
Different type of people.
Yeah, no, and it's been a great learning experience for me as well.
You said something.
Yeah, tell me.
Stopping you.
Yeah, no, please,
But
please.
nothing being on the social media. But generally, the techie guys, I mean, like us, we don't, we are low key, I think we quietly do our own thing. We're happy with that.
I was trying to find out, to do some reading up on your journey in your life. I couldn't find anything. There's nothing.
And the LinkedIn thing which you talked about,
Must have been made ages ago, and nobody
sometime
knows.
back, but then again I left it. It was, somebody told me, a friend of mine, a German friend of mine who was staying with me, that you must do this, you must do that, you must do this. He said, let's sit down, let's make a, homepage and let's, but the more I didn't push it.
You
I have
just-
other friends here who are wanting me to do more on this front, but somehow it doesn't happen.
Do you enjoy your tech space too much, and you're doing your own thing in that space? Is that what you're saying?
I think the pleasure comes more in designing, innovating, that is more interesting to me.
So tell me, you meet a lot of young people, and we started this conversation when you said that spend more time with young people. What's the kind of sense and dipstick sort of feeling do you have about young people and technology, and how technology is evolving and how they are adapting technology into their lives?
Okay, the guys I play with or spend time with, they are really, really good in their spheres, education, international policies, strategies. I think they're really good. I mean, that's we never had all that when we were that age.
They have a lot of exposure now.
Quite impressive. They're not wasting their time. They are, but the thing is, you see, being older and a little bit more experienced. So when I play with these guys, they keep asking me, I keep helping them, so I'm like a mentor, So they enjoy that.
Yeah.
and we fool around this, behave the same age, but every now and then I have to automatically guide them, or I can see what's happening. Sometimes even in their lives, sometimes in their family between these guys and their wives. So they ask me, "This is happening. What should I do?" So
Yeah, you being an
I help
experienced
them,
person, you can see you have a certain vision or a sight that you can see
and
clearly.
their parents will not be able to tell them because we are a little informal. So it
See,
works well.
it works well. What's the advice you would give to, let's say, students in school who are wanting to excel in something but feel the pressure? Because when you, in your experience, you've done lots of things. You've studied, you as a student went to Japan, experienced, played golf. Like you've had a full life in many ways. uh, what is the advice that you would give to high schoolers, I think specifically, who are struggling a lot with the pressure of studies, marks, college admissions? What's the advice you would give?
Here there's a little bit of a confusion about marks
Hmm.
because people are being pushed to get 99.9% and you have to study. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it's
Hmm.
really, I think, stressing them too much.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can't do it, I would say that if kids find it tough,
Find
not,
something else.
don't have to go to college, in fact. There are other skills, a lot of things are available. Don't have to just study, 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 go crazy.
Yeah, today I think there are so many opportunities outside of the mark space that you can you can do well for yourself. Yeah. I
You
think
know,
it's easier.
one way to answer the question is if you go back 100 years
Hmm.
or 200 years, the world has changed,
Yeah,
correct? But education and that.
that's so true.
Because that time also there was a classroom and they had to study and they had to get marks. And they said, this guy is brilliant because he's, getting good marks. And that is what was 50 years ago, 100 years ago, and today also.
Same
Which
thing.
is, which is, I think, not the good thing. But then you are categorizing kids
Just on
and
the basis of their academic abilities and
exactly.
not their other
Yeah, yeah.
abilities. Yeah, that's so true.
So that change may happen. I don't know when, but that's what is ideally required.
Maybe I think things are evolving. So hopefully, maybe these youngsters only who get into education
They
will
will
change
change.
it.
They will change it. Exactly. Exactly.
But tell me one thing: in all of your years in being in tech, what's some of the most interesting stuff that you've done that you look back on and say, "My God, that was cool."
Even in terms of
Technology.
technology, uh, you see, because we were, I mean, colonized. Okay, we were kept down by the Brits.
Hmm.
They wouldn't let India develop. So India was really backward in terms of technology when the Britishers left. So very, very simple things were not made in India. So what we liked was that everything was imported. There was a thing imported hai
Huh,
is good.
correct. Huh.
Car imported car hai. So
Radio, imported
so
radio.
local things were looked down upon. That's the way it was. That's the way we were made to feel. That you're not inferior. So what we liked was that we would say, see a product, a machine, or some concept or assembly, and say, can't we make it? So we take a challenge and we will make it. And we would say import substitution. So everything that I did was import substitution.
So whatever is being imported, I'm going to make it
Yeah.
in India and
Make
make
it
it
in India,
well.
yes. And even now I can give you a very simple example. During COVID, we had the lockdowns
Yeah.
to stay home. So I decided to go with Aman, my brother, who is Nimrana. Okay, you met him before.
Yes, he's
So
your twin brother, and nobody believes that.
exactly. So I spent a month in Tijara with him,
Hmm.
and it was a nice place to be. Nobody around. So there a new idea came of making a motorized intelligent roof cover pergola.
Yeah.
With an engineering background, one could get into that. And it's a very interesting concept where you don't want to sit inside and have a drink or a cup of tea because COVID or whatever. You want to be outside. But outside, could be hot, could be cold, could be rainy. So you have a roof which is retractable or you can move it around with a remote control.
So it's like
Like,
zip,
yes,
shut and zip back.
exactly. So you are open and you are sitting under the sky, and then you shut it and it closes. Made that, designed it, and made that, and realized that again nobody in India is making it.
They're all imported.
All imported. China, Turkey, Germany, Belgium. So that's what I like doing. And we've already made quite a few of them, and they are working so many different places. And it's a great product. Another new invention, you can say.
Wow, that is so cool. And I think making in India, made in India, I think it's high time that we're proud and we take pride in that fact. Thank you so much for having this chat. You were about to say something.
No, no, I was, what I was going to say is that when you said make in India, there is a push from the top also,
Yes, true. Absolutely.
isn't it? And that itself has changed India a lot. Look at the satellites, look at what we are doing.
Yes, Chandrayaan 3, and we're on the south pole of the moon, first country to do so.
This is the first time I've got messages from my friends in Germany, Norway, Finland, Italy, congratulating, saying, great, you guys have done it. Satellite, Chandrayaan. They never, ever, ever would say, you developed something in India, which they would be congratulating you. But the world is now doing
Yes,
it.
the world is watching. In fact, I was seeing reports of so many news channels where they're saying India has landed first
Yes.
time on the south pole of the moon. India has done it, and channels from different parts of the world, different countries, and there is immense pride. And I think
It's the Make in India push. Finally, you have to believe in yourself.
that is true in every area of your life.
No, but Indian, when you are overruled by the Mughals for 1,000 years and the Brits and all that, as slaves, you lost that, feeling that, I can do it. And that's again got revived.
Yeah, it's true. I think it was it was so exciting seeing the lander touching the surface of the moon, and
Softly, yeah.
yeah, softly, and all school groups, all family groups, all WhatsApp groups so filled with, are you watching it, are you watching it, is it happening? Yeah, I think it's high time that we're proud of what we're doing. And
Yes. And now the youth have no limits. They'll do fantastic work, you watch.
yeah, I'm sure, I'm absolutely sure.
Well, nice being here with you.
Thank you so much for having this chat with us. And it was really interesting. Golf and technology, quite an unusual combination.
Gets together.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.
That's it from us on Unbox with Tanvi. We'll see you on another episode soon.